Hello friends and students, welcome to the classroom of Pharmaceutical Chemistry 2. In this course of Pharmaceutical Chemistry 2, we are studying about the chapter of anti-tubercular drug, where we have seen the disease of tuberculosis along with its causative organism, its sign and symptoms, and its preventive measures, drugs for first line and second line drugs along with their DOTS regimen for treatment. And in the last class, we have discussed about the first line drugs that are generally used for anti-tubercular as an anti-tubercular drug or management of tuberculosis. So in first line drugs, there are five drugs that is termed as short form of HRZES. H stand for isoniazid, R stands for rifampin, Z stands for pyrazinamide, E stands for ethambutol, and S stands for streptomycin. So these drugs act differently on bacteria to kill or to inhibit its growth for the disease purpose in lungs or extrapulmonary areas. Whereas today we are going to continuing that the drugs of first line that has been left as streptomycin as well as the other drugs of second line drugs, and we'll see how they can very useful for the treatment of tuberculosis. So streptomycin is a antibiotic, and streptomycin is a class of aminoglycosides. Okay, so aminoglycosides are a class of antibiotic which generally kill the bacterial RNA, okay, a bacterial synthesis by involving into 30S RNA subunit. As you know that there are various Wedberg unit of RNA, okay, that are used for protein synthesis. Okay, so in 30S RNA, streptomycin generally attached to this RNA fragment and in block the process of protein synthesis in bacterial cell. Okay. So in terms of brand name, they are available as Streptomac, Streptowell, Streptoplus, Streptopain, Streplin. So all these are having a strept at the first of this dosage form, as well as the it is very readily available in injectables form. Okay, so injectable forms are very popular of this streptomycin, as well as it is also available in powder form, which is powder for reconstitutable, that has been produced for injectables. Okay. In terms of use, it is generally used for the treatment of TB as a first line drug. Along with the treatment of TB, it is also useful in other bacterial infection like brucellosis that has been caused by brucella, plague, pneumonia, influenza, etc. In terms of properties, it is white solid powder with bigger mass of 581 gram per mole. The mass is more because the aminoglycosides having a glycoside structure, and glycoside structure is having sugar moiety, so they are generally heavy structure, so having a mass of more than 500, that is 581 gram per mole, and having soluble melting point of 192 degrees centigrade. So as the aminoglycosides are having the sugar moiety, and sugar moiety are very much soluble in water, so this drug of streptomycin, it is also very much soluble in water, but due to presence of sugar, it is all again hygroscopic, and due to presence of nitrogen, it can emit the toxic fumes of nitrogen oxide. So for this purpose, it have to be, we have to store it in tightly closed container. The first line drugs has been ended. Now the second line drugs that are generally toxic drugs in terms of efficacy and less efficacious, but they are very useful for multi-drug treatment, where the first line drugs are generally develop the resistance towards the bacteria. So you have the structure of this drug, para-amino salicylic acid. This is generally commonly termed as PAS. Okay, So para-amino salicylic acid is the derivative of salicylic acid. Salicylic acid can be found in the aspirin structure. You have already know that. Though the para-amino salicylic acid have a para position amino group in salicylic structure. So in terms of IUPAC name, so this is where the parent structure is carboxylic acid. So carboxylic acid in IUPAC name nomenclature, you know that it is the highest priority group. So benzene with carboxylic acid is benzoic acid. So in the parent chain is benzoic acid. So we have to determine the other substitution present in the benzoic acid. So in the there are two substitution in benzoic acid. If we are numbering it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the number comes to these ways, as the second position is having hydroxy group. But if we numbering from this side 1, 2, 3, 4, so the first substitution at 4 position. So that's why the numbering goes through these ways 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are two substitution at second position hydroxy group as well as in fourth position amino group. And due to alphabetical order, A comes before H. So we have to write it 4 amino 2 hydroxy benzoic acid. This is the correct IUPAC name of this para-amino salicylic acid. Para-amino salicylic acid is the common name. The IUPAC name stands 4 amino 2 hydroxy benzoic acid. So in terms of mechanism, it is a kind of sulfur drugs. Okay, just as we have studied the structure of sulfonamides, so this kind of structure is related to the sulfonamides, and mechanism of action is also related to the sulfonamides, that it inhibits the folic acid synthesis. Okay, folic acid synthesis by incorporating the enzyme dihydrofolate synthetase. Okay, so the para-amino salicylic acid is available in the brand name of Passer, mesalamine, along with other brand name like Nimasol, and dosage form available for para-amino glycosides is tablet, granules, and ointment. In terms of uses, this medication is used with combination with other drugs to treat tuberculosis as a second line drugs, and very much useful for MDR-TB. MDR-TB stands for multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. Okay, so multi-drug resistant tuberculosis is the condition where the first line drugs are not enough efficacious to stop the infection of tuberculosis. In terms of properties, it is a white crystalline powder, and having a mass of 153 gram per mole and a melting point of 150 degrees centigrade. It is soluble in acetone and chloroform. It is not very much soluble in water. In terms of stability, it is darkened in presence of heat and air, and in terms of storage condition, it is tightly closed, stored in tightly closed container to prevent the water penetration or water absorption. Okay. So the next drug of choice for tuberculosis treatment is the cycloserine. So cycloserine is having a different mechanism of action than other drugs because it block the bacterial cell wall synthesis. Okay, so bacterial cell wall contains a unique compound is called peptidoglycan. So peptidoglycan can be synthesized from utilizing the amino acid, and cycloserine is the structural analog to the D-alanine. That means alanine is an amino acid you have studied in the biochemistry in the previous classes. So the cyclic form is alanine is related to the cycloserine. So when the bacteria utilized alanine for synthesis of peptidoglycan for cell wall, but it by mistakenly it recognize the it cannot recognize the drug cycloserine, but it generally approaches the cycloserine for synthesis of bacterial cell wall and peptidoglycan. As a result, the falsely claimed cycloserine or falsely claimed the bacterial amino acid alanine, it incorporated in the cell wall of peptidoglycan, and as a result the faulty peptidoglycan formed, which is not useful for bacterial cell wall. In terms of brand name, the brand name available for cycloserine are cyclorine, cyserine, cyclotex, coxerine, cyclocox. So these are very easily available brand of cycloserine. In terms of dosage form, it is readily available in the tablet form, but the other dosage form of capsule and powder also available, which can be reconstituted well for solution also. Okay. In terms of uses, generally cycloserine is the second line drugs of anti-TB that has been used for multi-drug resistant tuberculosis patient. Okay, as a second line drugs. So appearance, it is pale yellow crystalline powder having a mass of 102 gram per mole and melting point of 155 degrees centigrade. In terms of solubility, it is soluble in water, but unstable at room temperature. So for due to this instability reason, you have to store it in tightly closed container in refrigerator, not exceeding the room temperature. Thanks for watching the video. Hope we have discussed all the drugs available in your syllabus and for treatment of tuberculosis. So in next class we will start the next topic of under syllabus, that will be most probably antibiotics. So thank you for sparing time for today's lecture, and if you have any queries or any discussion or any rectification for my lecture, you can post the comment.